the channel, and we are gonna put a built and reinforced subframe in this thing finally. And I'm gonna refresh all the bushings, everything, all that. Let me show you guys a rundown of what I got and some interesting information that I found out from GK Tech. Basically everything is from GK Tech, but I got end links, the Lockout Kit, R200 solid diff bushings, and permanent high kiss delete once I get that built subframe in, which is just going to be a S14 toe arms, and so is the other arms. So all my other arms in the R34 are just going to become S14 arms now, basically. But let me show you some interesting information that I found out from GK Tech when I emailed them before I started ordering parts. So I guess the R34 and R32 GTR variants are different than the rear wheel drive variants, basically. So for the GTR ones, the studs are misaligned, so you're going to need conversion bushings from GK Tech to put a S14 subframe into this car. Same thing with the if you're planning to use the stock differential in your GTR, you're going to need offset bushings. But for me and the other rear wheel drive drifty boys, they basically told me you should just bolt right in using regular S14 subframes, because the mounting points are basically the same. And they told me to get these bushings, which should also just bolt in. So it should be an easy bolt in project, I'm hoping, but it'll be nice to have everything kind of refreshed. I got majority of everything to get the subframe off. There's the exhaust, there's the axle, got the brakes out as you saw, sway bar out, got the other axle right there. Ahead and I did the drive shaft. Yeah, this thing's ready to drop, so all I gotta do is take care of the brake line, which means I have to undo all of this mechanism, which is going to be annoying, but has to be done. And if you guys are scared about this part, don't worry, because GK Tech makes a really thorough and detailed video on it, which I will link down below, just in case you guys are attempting this and need to know how the springs go and everything to put the brake shoes for the parking brake back together. Alright, we did it, boys. We finally got the R34 OEM subframe out with the Hikis, and I have it matched up right here next to the built S14 subframe. So as you can see, the Hikis delete is kind of bolted onto the subframe, whereas the S14 one has a pickup point for the aftermarket toe arms. So after taking a look at the built subframe and its geometry and where the arms would be and everything. And then I'm looking at the stock R34 one. It is very similar. So I see why the S14 subframe bushings would work on this to make it mount correctly. But we won't know until we actually test fit this and see if the studs fit. What I'm going to do first is go ahead and pull that diff out and put the bushings on that GK Tech told me to get and see how well it matches up, and hopefully all the mounts line up. Here's the diff, I got it out, and I ran into a little problem because here's the GK Tech bushing I bought, right? And it doesn't fit. It looks like you just put the bolt and it's like a perfect fit. See, for the bolt. So I guess the R34 doesn't use bushings, I'm guessing? I don't know, I just hope it bolts onto the S14 subframe though, so we're gonna try that right now. Alright boys, with a little bit of muscle work, I cleaned up the R34 LSD Nismo 2-way that came out of the R34 subframe with the Hikis, and is now in the built S14 subframe. And I didn't even have to use the GK Tech bushings because I had these S14 solid mounts laying around and they fit, so I'm just gonna return those. But everything lined up perfectly. Especially, I was worried about this part. I was scared that the rear ears weren't gonna like match up to where the holes were, but successfully threaded in. Put a little bit of anti-seize and it was all butter. Let's go. So, if you are going to put a R34 diff rear wheel drive into a S14 subframe, it bolts in. It literally bolts in. You just need the rear bushings. Alright guys, check this out. S14 subframe is successfully mounted into the R34 GTT. Let's go. Clearance is kind of tight in some places. I thought I was going to have to hammer some of the frame, but that didn't end up being the case. What I did so far was I bolted the drive shaft on to see the angle, to see if I'm going to need shims to space it out a little bit more, but the drive shaft looks pretty straight on, so I don't think I'm going to need shims. I think what I'm going to do is go to the hardware store and grab a couple of washers or a thicker washer. That way I have a little bit more thread engagement, because I'm not happy with that. Same thing with this side. I used the cup, the OEM cup that was essentially on this mount, the OEM mount, but I'm going to get rid of that and then get a spacer, some sort of spacer to space that out. And that should be it for hard mounting it, honestly. After that, it's just putting the bushings and the knuckles and throwing everything back on. So I just bought these washers for the subframe because I don't want to use that OEM cup stuff. So I'm going to use these washers. I'll show you what it looks like when I install it. But I got the biggest washer possible, so that way it covers the whole circumference of the subframe bushing. There's the washers. So hyped. They're actually the exact same size. I didn't even measure it before I went and got the hardware, so kind of spot on. Nice. Well, here's the bushings for the lower control with the SuperPros. So it's small enough to where I can probably just get away with doing the clamp method again, so I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna lube them up first. Alright, well, here's the lower shock mount, the last of the bushings that I need to pop off. Repeat this setup and it's actually working because the C-clamp is not wide enough to fit the cups. So I'm just hammering it out and it's actually working. So it's about to pop out soon. And I figured since I already had the tool out, I'll go ahead and change the rear ball joints. So I already did the other side too. Alright, so I pretty much finished everything. Here's everything connected. Here's the aftermarket camber arm. I left the trailing arm stock. And then here's the toe arm. So one thing I had to do, since I didn't want to space out the subframe, was I had to get these extended exhaust hangers, just so it wouldn't be so high up, because it's already kind of close on the subframe right here, but it clears. So that's why I had to space it out just a little bit. I did it on all four mounts. So I did it on this one, and then this one right here. And everything lines up on the S14 subframe compared to the R34. Like there's a mount right there, and then other mounts over there, so everything kind of lines up. But yeah, I guess the only thing I gotta do now is put the wheels on and drop the car and test drive it and see if it vibrates or anything, and see if I have to do any more adjustments. But yeah, it should feel good. Brand new ball joints, all the bushings are all done and stuff, so hell yeah. I got the arms adjusted to OEM length that GK Tech recommended till I get a alignment. But yeah, let's put the wheels on, air it out, air it back up, and then test drive it and see. Okay, well, as you can see, I have it all the way aired out. Seems to air out just fine. Also, it gave me like a 10mm track width, so I had a 25mm spacer on this in those lip to fender, and now I don't have any spacer on it, and it's damn near perfect. So if you're swapping an S14 subframe into your R34, you're gonna get like plus 10 to 15 extra of track width. That's not too bad. Go ahead and test drive it, see how it is. Make sure it doesn't make any noise, all that stuff. Alright, pulled her out. It's time for the first test drive. I have her set at my ride height, and we're about to see how this thing drives. Whew, no noise. It's a good sign. And I must have set my toe arms. I must have put them kind of close together. It doesn't feel like the alignment is too badly off. You can tell the steering wheel's kind of cocked to the left, just a tad bit. We're gonna do like first pull on the new subframe swap. Not too bad. Not too bad even with uneven alignment, but it feels great. And I have solid subframe bushings, and usually they're really harsh, they make noise, and the ride quality is horrible, but actually not too bad. So far so good. No weird noises, no weird vibrations, especially because I have solid mounts. The alignment is off though, just a little bit. Man, my eyeball alignment, really good, not too bad. High speeds, still no vibration, still good. I'll consider this swap a success. I don't really have any weird binding or noise issues after doing the swap and changing all the bushings, so we should be good now. All I need to do now is just get an alignment and the thing will be solid. But for that, I guess this is going to be the end of the video. Like, everything's already done, everything's already swapped, everything is driving fine, and all that's left is an alignment. So next video, we're probably going to do an oil catch can from Amazon, of course. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all later.